Hello children and welcome to the English class of Standard 9. So children, you know that we all in life always like to possess something, like really crave for it. You also must be having such cravings like, yeah, I want it, desire, whatever it is that I want it, I want to possess it. Maybe you want to, when you grow up, you want a very beautiful car. I don't know the names of the different cars, but of course you all would like the best of it, the best of house, everything the best, right? Everyone has that craving or the desire to possess something, to become to possess, not become, but to possess some materialistic things. You want the best TV, the best everything, the best. So now, right, today the lesson we are going to deal with today, learn, is something to do with a desire of a woman to possess all these materialistic things, beautiful clothes and beautiful ornaments, jewelry and all such things, her desires, all materialistic things, things which may not be of much value, like you don't actually should, what you should possess are good qualities, but here we are going to see, and at the end also we will see how it ends, so which will teach us a lesson. So should we actually desire more of these things, the materialistic things? That question you may ask at the end of the lesson. So today's lesson, which we are going to, the story that we are going to read, is based on from a story of a woman from France. It is a story written by, the name of the story is The Necklace. And it is a story written by the author Henry René Albert Guy de Maupassant. Like, you know, the word is, because it's a French name, so the pronunciation is a little difficult, but let me, Henry René Albert Guy de Maupassant, that is the way it is pronounced, the name, a long name of an author. Yeah, but he was a writer who loved to write short stories and was from France, and he was always known to bring a twist in the ending in the story. Last time, I think, when we did the Swiss Family Robinson, we spoke about the climax, a turn in the story. So he was also well known for bringing a twist in at the end of the story. And this story we are going to now read is about a young girl, a young woman, of course, pretty and very pretty, a beautiful young woman who unfortunately was not very rich, was not wealthy, and she really could not even, she had all her dreams as a girl, young girl. She wanted to get married also to some aristocrat, some person with a high rank and all in France, and she wanted the best of clothes, those lovely gowns which if you see a lot of old Western movies, you'll see those lovely dresses those ladies, the young women wear with huge skirts. I do not know how many of you all watch such movies, but if you see old Western movies of olden area, depicted in the olden era, you will see these dresses, and all the women wore the necklaces, the hairstyles and all that. They really looked beautiful. And this is what this woman over here we are talking about, Mathilde, is what her dreams were. Her dreams were to look the best, be always wear the best of clothes, live in the best of, live in the most beautiful house, a palace type. These were always her desires. They were more materialistic. And so in the story, how she, just to show people, she borrows something from her friend, and what happens in the end? I do not want to, if you have read the story, you will know, those who love reading must have already read it, but I would not like to just reveal the end of the story to you. So let us start reading the story, and as we read, we'll come to know the qualities of Mathilde, how her cravings, her desires to want more and beautiful things, what did it lead to, and her struggle to at the end, what was the struggle, how did she struggle, that all we are going to see in the story, The Necklace. Mathilde was a pretty and charming girl, born as if by an error of fate. As I told you, an error of fate, like by mistake, luck, unfortunately. Unfortunately, she was born into a family of clerks. So I told you, she didn't want that. She would have loved to be born in a very rich family, a family of some aristocrat, somebody who with social rank, high social rank. But fate did not have that for her. That is why it is called by an error of fate, by mistake. An error is a mistake. So by mistake of fate, of life, her future, her fortune, what happened to her? She was born in a poor family, a family of a clerk, and that was, she had no means of becoming known, understood, loved, or be wedded to an aristocrat. So of course, because she was married, she was born in a family of a clerk, but her expectations, she wanted to at least get married to an aristocrat, but that also was not in her fate. Why? Because of course she was there, how would she be known to people like that? To be known in France and all, to be known, you have to attend parties also of aristocrats, so that people will see you, the way you dress up and all, and you have to have clothes to wear. So that was not in her luck, in her fate, and so she had to so she wouldn't meet any aristocrat. Where would she meet? So she had to ultimately get married to another clerk itself, a minor official. So there she had no means of becoming known, well known, famous, understood, loved, or be wedded to an aristocrat. And so she let herself be married to a minor official at the Ministry of Education. So she got married, but to a small like a person who was working in the education department. She got married to that man, and so obviously what her first thing only, like it's already died, like her desires have already been strangulated at that very moment where she was married to a minor official. Yet we all learn to live as per the circumstances, and so she was, though unhappy, was living. She dressed plainly because she had never been able to afford anything better. So her clothes were plain and simple, not because she wanted to be simple, not because she herself was a simple person, but it was why? Because she could not afford, she could not buy such clothes. She didn't have the money. Not affording is to not have the enough money to buy such clothes. She suffered endlessly, feeling she was entitled to all the luxuries of life. So she always felt that this is not my life. I shouldn't be getting this. Why me, God? She must be saying this to herself. Why me, God? Why am I living like this? Why do I can't dress up like these other young, beautiful women out there? Women, why can't I do that? This was always her feeling. This feeling, she really all the time her thoughts must have been revolving only around that why me, why I have to live such a life, because she always felt that she was entitled for all the luxuries that all the rich girls had. She thought that she should be getting all that, but it was not with her. She suffered because of her shabby, poorly furnished house. So what are the different things she suffered? She suffered because she dressed up plainly. She suffered because her house was shabby, poorly furnished, not much furniture, not grand furniture. So that also made her feel, so every time she looked at her house around, she must be feeling bad. So she suffered there also. All these things that another woman of her class would not even have noticed. So of course another some maybe husband's colleague's wife must not even be noticing such. Her husband's colleague would also be a minor official. So over there also a minor officer's wife, any other woman of that status would not think how she thought. Her life, her time was all spent on thinking about what she is missing in life, and not on what she could do with her life, but what she was missing in life. I could have done this, could have been better, not what making it better right now. All her time she spent in that, and that is why she tortured herself. Mentally she tortured herself. Of her class would not even have noticed, tormented her and made her resentful. So tormented her means tortured her. They tormented her. All these thoughts which were there, they tormented her. So tormented, tortured, mental suffering, and all this tormented her and made her resentful, angry, disappointed, made her resentful. She dreamed of a grand palatial mansion with vast rooms and inviting smaller rooms, perfumed for afternoon chats with close friends. So these were her dreams. It's not bad to dream, but still she wanted all these beautiful things. She always dreamed about a grand palatial house, like a palace, a house with palace, which you enter would be a big hall, mansion in front, a hall, and then the smaller rooms to the side, and where she could be dressed properly and sit with her friends and chat, and it would be perfumed, her room would be perfumed, sprayed with the scents, and there she would sit with her close friends and chat. These were her dreams. Yet, but this was not the fact. The fact was she was living in a shabby, poorly furnished house. So yet she had no rich dresses, no jewels, nothing. And these were the only things she loved. So all her life what she loved she didn't get. So imagine her disappointment, imagine her anger, her frustration for not getting what she desired the most in her life, right from maybe when she was a young girl. She wanted so much to charm, to be envied, to be sought after. She wanted so much to be to attract people, to charm people with her style. She wanted to charm people, and then she wanted to be envied, like people should be jealous of her, to be like they should feel ki, oh, see how good, well dressed she is, oh, so beautiful she is, to be jealous of her, to be envied by others, and to be sought after, to be followed, like to be seen all the time. You know, nowadays you all must be doing all this on your social media, putting your pictures in the best of clothes and then seeing how many followers you have. The more the followers, the more famous you are. If that time, during the time of Mathilde, she would have also been desiring that too, the best phone to put her best pictures with the best photo, whatever cropping and all what you all do, photoshopping, all that she would also like the best of it, so that she could show her friends and see how many follow her. That's what you all do, isn't it? And so that is what she wanted. She wanted but this is what she didn't get. She had a rich friend, a former schoolmate at the convent, whom she avoided visiting because, you know why? Because afterwards she would weep with regret, despair and misery. So why do you think, again, going to a friend's house and seeing her, she would cry with despair, with like very, very sad, and with misery, like again very sad, like with all the problems. So she would do that. Why do you think she would do that after seeing? So that's why she used to not go only. But why? Of course, her friend must be having all what she desired, must be wearing the best clothes, must be having the best ornaments, must be having a palatial house, the best furniture. So all this, of course, so she didn't want to go and see and all the time increase more and think more about her thoughts more and more. Okay, I don't have that, she has, and envy her. She wanted to be envied, but she would be envying her friend. So that is why she felt it is better not to go and see all her riches, her friend's riches, because her friend was rich, married to an aristocrat maybe. So she always felt that if she goes to that friend's house, in the end she would just end up crying. One evening, her husband came home with an air of triumph, of victory. Triumph, victory. He came home with an air of triumph, like very, as if he has won something and he's come. Proudly he came inside. Air of triumph. When we put the words together, air of triumph, that all together will be like with the this thing of feeling of victory and achieved something great. So with pride, holding a large envelope in his hand. Look, he said, here's something for you. She tore open the paper and drew out a card on which was printed the words. So he came proudly and he put forth in front, see here, what have I brought for you? And so it was an envelope in which he gave it to her, and in which from there she opened it, and what did she remove? A card. And what was on that card? The Minister of Education and Madame Georges Rampiano request the pleasure of Monsieur and Madame Loisel's company at the ministry on the evening of Monday, January 18th. So it was an invitation by the Minister of the Education, and there he had invited them. The M and MME in the box next to there in the textbook you'll find M in like how we address any of husband and wife as Mr. and Mrs. We address any husband and wife as Mr. and Mrs. Similarly over there they address as Madame and Monsieur. Monsieur and Madame. So over here we have Madame for MME and Monsieur stands for M, like Mr. and Mrs. So they've got an invitation. So wouldn't you be happy seeing the invitation? Yes, invitation to a grand party. Yeah, but do you think Mathilde would be happy to get this invitation? Do you think she would be happy? No. And why do you think so? Because when you think about party, what is your first thought? When you are invited to a party, what is your first thought that comes in? What will I wear? That is the first question that you think of. What will I wear? Which dress? Which is my best outfit? All of these questions you are going to, what hairstyle will I do? What am I going to, how am I going to, what jewelry will I use? What other things that I can take for the party? All these questions are going to come. But if you have, you are going to run to your cupboard and start hunting for it. But what about Mathilde? Does she have? So let's see. Instead of being delighted, being happy, as her husband had hoped, she threw the invitation on the table resentfully and muttered, "What do you want me to do with that? And what do you expect me to wear if I go?" So that is what the first thing comes into every lady's mind, woman's mind. What will I wear? Which sari? Your mother at home must be thinking. Invited to your father's boss's party. First thing, which sari should I wear? First thing that question will come, which sari and which necklace should I wear? Which she'll go and check in her cupboard, which is the best sari. Similarly here, so she was angry because she knew she couldn't run to her cupboard as well to see what is there. She knew she didn't have many clothes. She didn't have, all she had were those plain clothes. So what will I wear for this grand party was her first question. He hadn't thought of that. Poor husband, he had not thought of it. He stammered. Stammering is speaking with pauses, like that, you know, that not with, when you cannot say the words fast, you stammer. So over there, he stammered. Why the dress you go to the theatre in? It seems very nice to me. So that poor husband, he keeps telling that the one which you wear, poor thing there also, if you see the dress which you wear at the theatre with me. So that means she must be using that one single dress maybe to the theatre, and so that is one of her best dresses maybe. That is nice. And he stopped because he also must have realized, oh my God, what am I saying? Isn't that the dress she wears every time? And of course she is not going to wear with the behavior. Of course, in the conversation with her husband, she must have expressed her desires to possess all those things. So of course he knows his wife, and so he just stopped, stunned, distressed to see his wife crying, and she also started crying that you are telling me to wear that same dress. No, I am not going to wear that. That she must have started crying, and so that is what happened. He stopped and he's seen his wife crying, and he also was like shocked. Now what will I do? He stuttered. What's the matter? Let's see, Mathilde. How much would a suitable dress cost? So a worried husband, he stuttered again, difficulty in speaking, stuttering, difficulty in speaking, because here he's seeing his wife crying. So he stuttered and he asked, what's the matter? And then he was thinking for himself, let's see, okay, come on, let's see, what can we do? So what is the cost of the dress? How much will it cost? She thought for a moment, computing the cost, thinking about the cost, and also wondering what amount she could ask for without an immediate refusal. So of course she has to think, she cannot just say any big huge amount which her husband would not be able to afford also, and not an amount in which she will get a plain dress, a simple dress. She has to think properly and tell an amount which would give her a beautiful dress which she would be able to go wear to the party. So she thought for a while, and at last she answered hesitantly. Why hesitantly? Again, because she was not sure, hesitating, to not be sure of it. So that time you hesitate, because she was not sure whether her husband would agree to what she wanted. I don't know exactly, but I think I could do it with 400 francs. So that is the current, francs is the currency of France. And so she said 400 francs would be a suitable amount to buy a dress that I would like to wear, or I would be able to wear to a party. He turned a little pale because he had been saving the exact amount to buy a gun for a hunting summer in the country near Nanterre with a few friends. So he thought, like, this is what the exact amount he had collected, but he had collected for himself, because he had this hobby of hunting and he wanted to go during the summer with his friends to hunt. So for hunting he wanted to go to the country near Nanterre, but he loved his wife and he could not see her crying. So he said, however, he said, very well, I can give you 400 francs, but try and get a really beautiful dress. So ultimately, looking at the tears of his wife, he agreed to give the savings that he had saved for his hobby to his wife and said, okay, you go, you buy, but see that you buy a really beautiful dress. The day of the party drew near, and Madame Loisel seemed sad, restless, anxious, though her dress was ready. So now what is the problem? Now the dress is ready, yet she was sad, restless and anxious. So again, now the thing was, what was the thing? That is a dress. What about the accessories? All ladies want that, isn't it? Girls, if you all are there over there, you know your mothers and even you yourself, if you're going for any party, your friend's birthday party, it is not just the dress, what shoes, what hairstyle, what to carry, which purse to carry, all the accessories are very important to all the girls and women. And here she is again thinking, I have a dress, but what should I wear? So then one evening, her husband said to her, so the husband realized that she is always sad, yet she is sad, yet she is restless, yet she is always anxious. So he wanted to know what is the reason. So one evening her husband said to her, what's the matter? You've been acting strange these last 3 days. She replied, I'm upset that I have no jewels, not a single stone to wear. I would rather not go to the party. So she wants to tell that no, she is there, I have a dress, but what's the use now without any good jewelry? I'd rather not go to the party. If I have jewelry, I'll go. She replied. Then you could, the husband, poor thing, he wants to save his money. So he said, you could wear flowers, he said. They are very fashionable at this time of the year. So he advised her, yeah, go wear flowers, they look nice. And it is fashionable also nowadays. You can wear them. So, but she was not convinced. She did not like the idea. And so the next day, she went to her friend's house and told her of her distress, of her trouble. She told her of her distress, of what was troubling her. So children, read this much and note down the meanings also, and read this part. To the side, if you see in your textbook, in the margins over there, both on the left hand side and on the right hand side, you will see questions. Find answers in your textbook for these questions. We will do the remaining part, and the necklace has 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. So we will continue with this as well as part 2 in the next periods that we have. Thank you.